Welcome back to Season 2 of the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Our mission is to share with you what we have learned from our experience and the experience of others to help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate the Discount Property Investor way. Make sure you never miss an episode and download the Discount Property Investor app in Google Play or iTunes today. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. I'm your host, David Dodge, with co-host Mike Slane. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Dave. How are you, buddy?
Good, buddy.
Good.
Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening.
Right.
We're excited to chat with you guys again today. We love the feedback. We've had a couple of recent comments, people saying they're glad to have us back on. So we're glad to be back.
Glad to be back,
Glad
guys.
to be recording again for
Yeah.
Season 2.
Hopefully we're providing value to you, teaching you guys a little something here and there.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah. Well, and
A little
again,
nugget here, a little nugget there.
we kind of like it, so
Right.
may as well win-win, right?
Mm-hmm.
So today, what are we talking about, Dave? We're going to do.
What is working in marketing today?
All right.
Did I word that right?
Something like that.
Something like that.
We're going to talk about marketing. Sounds like we're talking about marketing today.
Right.
So that's the plan.
We're basically going to share with you guys what we're doing and what's working with us, and just what we're seeing from our competitors and other wholesalers in the space, not only locally but nationally. So, I think we've talked quite a bit in previous episodes, Season 1, about marketing efforts and direct to mail. So direct to mail is obviously
a staple.
The staple of what we do in our business, and we continue to do direct mail. I've noticed over the last really year and a half that the response rates for direct mail have kind of started to slow down a little bit, and I think that's probably due to competition.
Yeah, it's definitely a very, very competitive market. I think in any market you're in,
Right.
There's a lot of new people getting into it. A lot of people are sending mail, so it is harder to get attention of somebody who has a property.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got a lot savvier people. Again, they're gonna hang on to the 15 postcards, and when they are ready to sell, they call all 15.
people. Right.
So you get a little bit of that. So again, the direct mail has been a bit more of a challenge. Again, I would never cut it off. As long as let me clarify that. As long as we're still getting a deal out of it, as long as we're still making a profit on it, I wouldn't cut it out.
Sure.
If there's no calls coming in, eventually maybe it would get cut. But
Right.
for the time being, it is a lower performer, but it is still working.
Right.
So we do it, and I absolutely would encourage you to keep doing it.
Right.
If you're starting, it's a great way to have inbound calls coming in. I mean, people who are interested in selling calling you versus having to go out and find people that are interested.
That's true.
So
obviously direct mail, as Mike said, is one of the staples in this business.
let's cover a couple others that we do too.
Yeah. So one
and
that I
then
want to mention really quick
Go
before
for
I
it.
forget, but we had a coaching call with one of our students just yesterday, and I asked him. I said, "Have you posted on Facebook yet that you buy houses?" He said, "No, I've been meaning to do it." And I was like, "All right, stop what you're doing right now and make the post. It'll take you 30 seconds." And I wanted to just just talk about this real quickly because if people don't know what you do, if you keep your business a secret, the only person that you're really hurting is yourself. So you want to get out and you want to tell people, hey, I buy houses. Post it on Facebook. Post it on social media.
100%. That's my favorite quote is, no matter what business you're in the business of marketing, and Facebook is great. Social media, social marketing, basically get out there and just say, hey, I'm buying houses.
Let people know that you're in the business.
And it's funny because
that's a free channel for marketing.
Absolutely, 100% free.
Right.
Your friends or whoever, your mom clicks like.
Friends of friends.
Your mom clicks like, and then somebody she knows sees the post.
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievably powerful. You need to do it. That's It's funny because I just can't believe we let it go that long and didn't catch the fact that he hadn't done that yet.
Right.
So, oh no, I haven't done that. Well, what?
What?
Yeah, you got to do that.
Right. I mean, me and Mike get several deals a year from friends of friends. Basically, people, like I said, or that Mike said, that we'll post online. Hey, and the post that I do, I copy and paste it every 3 or 4 weeks. It just says, hey, Facebook friends or people that I don't speak to or see that often. Just a quick reminder: I buy houses for cash. So if you or anybody you know has a property that they need to sell, call me. Maybe I can help. And that's it. Keep it short and simple. And I think my post is actually probably half the number of words I just used.
Yeah.
I mean, it's small. But basically what happens is people will share that post, or friends of friends will see it whenever they like it. You know, and it kind of has a ripple effect where it goes down. And we bought a house just a couple weeks ago from somebody that I didn't even personally know, but they were a friend of a friend. They're like, hey, my friend said that you buy houses. And if I wouldn't have shared that information with the world on social media, that would have been one less deal that we would have been
I can't tell you how many people, like just from high school or college or whatever, that are just like, oh, I know you buy houses. Are you interested in this? We're trying to sell our house.
All right. You've talked to them in years.
Yeah, exactly. It was somebody I would probably never
or talk to
pick up the phone. I don't have their phone number in my phone, but yeah, they're reaching out to you. It's great.
It's great.
So no, that's really good. I'm glad you're.
So sorry I went off on a tangent on that, but that's very powerful, guys. And I think people forget to do that.
Yeah.
You know, don't keep your business a secret.
Yeah, I can't believe we hadn't harped on that more.
Right.
So yeah, it is. It's really good to keep that in mind. So
direct mail, social media, guys. Definitely use social media. Bandit signs, I think, is next. Yep. Bandit signs are great. We still use bandit signs in our business today. We are big fans of bandit signs.
So we got bandit signs. We've also got the bandit signs on wheels on the back of cars. Yep. We've also got just the magnets for our personal vehicles, so you can take it on, pull it off if you want to. Mm-hmm. So lots of different ways to kind of utilize bandit signs.
Door hangers. Mm-hmm. People have, we have door hangers. I have them in my in the door of my car, and if I drive by a house that looks like it's run down or vacant, I'll go knock on the door, and if there's nobody home, I'll leave a little hanger on the door. And if they have a storm door, even better, because that hanger will be protected from the weather. And if they don't come back home for 4 months, it'll be there when they get home. Mm-hmm. So basically just getting the message out to as many people as you possibly can.
And I haven't done it in a while, but posting on Craigslist that you buy houses.
We have virtual assistants that do that every week.
Okay, that's why I haven't done it in a while.
Right. You've outsourced that at this point, Mike.
So I forget, Right. Yeah. So posting on sites like Craigslist, or isn't the other one Backpage?
eBay Classifieds.
There's a couple of them like that. Yep. Yeah. Then they're not as popular, but
Craigslist, I think, is probably your best bet. Mm-hmm. But in some markets you may have 5 or 10 people posting, so it can be competitive. But just because they're doing it doesn't mean that you shouldn't.
Oh, what's funny?
Come across those
we
ads.
Talked about Facebook, but we didn't even talk about Facebook. Facebook now has become pretty powerful.
They have a marketplace too now.
Well, and they become pretty powerful for local areas. So if there's like a local market in your area, you can post in there, hey, I buy houses in it's like one of the neighborhoods in our community in Baldwin. So there's like a West County Baldwin group. It's like, hey, I'm looking for a house in Baldwin. Anybody know anything for sale?
It's true.
So again, there's lots of ways to use social media and really kind of plug into that. That's another kind of relatively free. I mean, it is free.
It is free.
Way to post and try to find deals.
So other than the free sources online, with Facebook and Craigslist and so on and so forth, there are paid sources as well. So we're
starting to power up here too in the effectiveness of our marketing efforts here too.
So these ads that we're going to talk about next, they have a cost, but you're also going to be getting higher motivation of people that are going to be using these forums, or these sources. So the two main that come to mind would be like creating a Facebook ad, which would then have like a small commercial or a picture. And then they click into that, and there'll be a small form that just says, hey, let us reach out to you, provide us your name, phone number, address, and, one of our people will contact you immediately if they don't want to call the number that we provide right then and there. And then I think the most expensive form of marketing as of today would probably be, other than like television or radio or billboards, which are all other sources of great marketing, would be like pay-per-click through AdWords.
Well, it's our most expensive.
Our most
today,
expensive,
for sure.
Right.
So pay-per-click is expensive. I mean, we can pay upwards of what, $20-$30 for a click.
Upwards of $30 in some time frames, for one click, which is great because you're typically going to have you kind of notice that the more money that you spend on your marketing campaigns or per lead within a campaign, you're going to get a higher level of motivation typically. Not always.
Yeah, I mean, again, so that's per click though, so it's really per closed deal, or even just per appointment.
Yeah, you may have 5 clicks that don't even call or fill the form out.
Right.
And then of that, you may have 1 click that's an appointment. But then you may only have 1 deal out of every 4 or 5 appointments. So you have to run your numbers. I mean, you could end up spending anywhere between $200 and $500 per deal. But if you're netting out $5,000 to $7,000 on a deal, or even $15,000 on a deal, it's worth it all day long to do so. So you got to just kind of keep your eye on these numbers. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So pay-per-click is great, huge performer right now. Again, I think it's because and this is just my hypothesis, is that because the market is a little bit competitive or a little bit more flooded, the cheaper methods of advertising just aren't working as well.
Well,
So, like
the
your
barriers
direct-
to entry are lower.
There you
so you
go.
have a lot more people that are using those channels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, going on Craigslist and saying I buy houses, like, it's free for you to do that. So the barrier to entry is very low. So anybody that wants to get into wholesaling or is in wholesaling can easily go do that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to have a budget to do that.
Well, a budget and then the skill set too. Google AdWords is way
It's
over
not
my pay
easy.
grade.
Yeah.
Way over my pay
Yeah.
grade.
To do it right and make it effective.
Well, to actually get the leads like we want.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we played with it for a long time. And
Yeah,
then we
it's
had to
not
outsource.
worth,
then
it's
we had
not
to
worth
out-
trying to learn it.
Yeah,
I
we had to
just
outsource
say
it.
outsource it is your best bet at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's our personal opinion. I think we're both relatively tech savvy individuals
Oh,
too.
for sure.
So it is again, if it's your full time thing and you really like it, if that is your thing, then go for it. But yeah, I would recommend trying to find someone to help you run your campaigns.
That's true.
And that's going to add to the cost as well.
That's
but
true.
hey, it's part of
I
the
think
game.
the main point though is like there's really no right answer to marketing.
Do
There's
it.
really no
That's-
what. Do it. You nailed it,
Nike,
man. You
Nike,
nailed
the
it.
shit, man. We got to
Yeah, I mean-
just do it.
It's like people ask me all the time, well, how many letters should I send out and what frequency? It doesn't matter. You know, like if you haven't sent a letter out yet, you know, like it doesn't. Like you are thinking way too into it.
Yeah, it's true.
Just buy some stamps and write letters and throw them in the mail.
You can use a crayon. I buy houses and your phone number. Just throw it in
matter.
there.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. And I think it's so funny online too, Mike. You probably agree with me on this, but when people are like, "Oh, we've tested the direct mail for years, and we have the secret letter, the secret sauce," and it's like, yeah, you know. I don't disagree that certain things that you do on your letter may help increase response rates. But if you're in that analysis paralysis, like I need to have the perfect letter, and you just wait to send it because you want to make it right, you're hurting yourself.
That's true. And we'll kind of talk out of both sides of our mouth on this one
Right.
because I agree with that as well.
We've spent thousands of dollars on seminars to increase our response rates, but at the end of the day, it's like if somebody wants to sell their house and they get a letter from you, they're going to call, no matter if you have a cute picture of a puppy on the letter or not, or a PS at the bottom. I mean, yes, there's little things you can do to help, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be that much different.
Right.
Like you said earlier, use a crayon.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing.
It's probably going to have the same, maybe a higher response.
Maybe even a higher
We should do
response.
that. Let's
Hey,
test it out.
let's test
we'll
it out.
crayon some up here later today.
Yeah, and you know, A/B split test, guys. You know, try a couple
Or the
this way, a
secretary.
couple that way.
The next time the secretary's daughter's in, we'll have her
We'll
write
have
up
her
a bunch
write
of
up a
them
couple
for
of
us.
them, right? 6 or 7 year old.
Yeah, that'd be
you know?
perfect, man.
Test it out. But the key is do it. You just said it perfectly, Mike. Do it. Get out there and drop some letters in the mail.
We have no affiliation with Nike. I just like to say
No,
that.
not at all. Or Harry's Razors.
Or they do it too?
I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
But anyway, though, you know, get out there and hang some bandit signs up, guys. Post on Facebook. You know, post online. Post on Craigslist. If you have a budget to do some AdWords or some paid advertising, it doesn't have to be Facebook. It could be Instagram or Twitter or whatever social media site you like to use. You know, it doesn't matter. Create some campaigns and get out there because again, the wider reach that you have to show people what business you're in, the easier it's going to be for people to do business with you.
Oh, let's talk about the other one. We haven't even talked about it yet.
What is
Is cold calling.
Oh, cold calling, man,
Yeah.
that's been huge lately.
Yeah. Well, that's what you said. Your phone's melting.
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah.
So, pro tip: don't use your cell phone when you're cold calling because whenever you get in the car and you want to drive somewhere, you'll have 5 or 7 missed calls.
Well, and again, so in Dave's defense,
it's frustrating.
We've changed phone systems recently,
We have,
and yeah,
right.
so he was using his cell phone to make a lot of calls.
Oh, boy.
And yeah,
I don't mind it. I could care less if my phone's ringing or not. But it's frustrating whenever you're driving and you get a call because you're not prepared. And it changes the whole scenario whenever you're in front of a laptop. And we use Podio. We've talked about it several times. But you can go in and you can, you know, maybe type that phone number in. You can see, oh, this is Jim at, you know, 123 Main Street, and I called him 6 days ago. Like, that gives you a little bit of information, which is power.
oh, hugely
Right.
powerful.
It's powerful. Versus you just pick up the phone and say, hey, this is Dave, and they say, hey, this is Jim. I'm calling you back. Well, it's like, all right, well, now I'm in a
You got to
position
fish for details.
I'm in a position without any power now, and it's like, okay, I've called 600 people in the last 3 days.
right, but you can't tell Jim that.
You can't tell Jim that
Yeah.
though, so it's like, okay, now where am I at? So, I think the main point is we don't, you know, beat a dead horse with this though. Is, you know, get a dedicated phone line for this to where if you're not in front of your computer when they call back, they can leave a voicemail or you can see them missed call. And there's free sources out there like Google Voice.
Yeah, and we were just talking about
Skype,
setting
Google
you up.
Voice.
We got to get the Google Voice set up and then have it go back into our
Into our
Podio
system.
system to have the VA call
Right.
back if you miss a
But
call.
what are we
yada, yada.
talking about whenever we say
Cold calling.
Cold calling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very, very basic. So how do we do it?
Well, I
We
mean,
buy lists that we mail to. We use the same list that we mail to.
pretty simple.
And what happens is whenever those letters come back, well, we know that we've just spent 35 to 50 cents to get a piece of marketing to somebody that it didn't reach. So instead of throwing that away, we're going to go in and we're going to skip trace that. And there's tons of places online that you can use to track somebody down. And we'll essentially try to find the new address and then update our sheet, update our list with that address. So whenever we go to mail a second, a third, or fifth time, we're actually getting that to reach the right person. But also, while we're in there, if there's any phone numbers or emails, because we're already in there pulling an address, we're going to take that information and we're going to copy and paste it over into our CRM or our spreadsheet. And we may even try to save ourselves the 50 cents on marketing and just pick up the phone and call them. And it's a scenario just like
ding,
we
ding,
talked
ding,
about.
ding, 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 ding.
Just like we talked about, we're going to cold call. So we're going to say, hey, Jim, this is Dave. I sent you a mail piece.
Well, we might take it back a little. We might be a little nicer. Hey, Jim, it's Dave.
Right.
A little aggressive there, partner.
No, I want to buy that house, Jim. Damn it. So, we'll just say, hey, Jim, this is Dave. I sent you a letter. It came back, and I found your information online, your phone number. I hope I'm not bothering you, but I noticed that you own a property at 123 Main Street. Keep it simple, guys. And Jim will say, yeah, I do own that property. In that scenario, or that conversation could go a number of ways. It could say, yeah, I live in that property. I'm not interested in selling. Okay, great. Sorry to bother you, Jim. Do you mind if I call you back in 6 months to a year to see if you're still, owning that property? Another scenario could say, yeah, I own the property as a rental and the tenants suck. You guys want to buy it from me? Great, make me an offer. So the conversation can go a multiple of ways. But basically by reaching out to people, and some people out there call it TTP, talk to people. We call it cold calling. I don't really want to try to rewrite the book here. But you're just cold calling individuals that you know that own properties. Now, is it always going to be a good idea to just call down the list? Not necessarily. I personally like to call the absentee-owned properties or the vacants, just because those people have a higher level of motivation to sell that property, you would think, in theory, than the people that are living in their house and have been there for 6 years. They may or may not want to move. Now, we call both, though. I'm not saying I discount those people, but if I have to choose between an absentee-owned phone call that I can make versus an owner-occupied call, I'm going to make that absentee call all day.
100%.
That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, or a vacant.
Or a vacant.
Vacant house. There's some motivation there. They got to get it rented. They got to get it
Right.
sold, whatever. I mean, again, they've got a liability.
Right.
There's expenses, so there is motivation.
Yeah, so we have we bring our team together once a week on Tuesday evenings, and we all get together and we cold call as a group, and it's fun. We all have a good time doing it. Each person will do about 2 or 3 hours, and each person maybe makes 50 to 70 calls in that time, and typically we'll set at least 1 or 2 appointments per person within a 2-hour block of just people. And oftentimes too, if you do call that owner-occupied individual and you say, hey, my name's Dave, I'm with Household Easy Properties, that's my pitch, you can use your own. But we'll say, I'm looking to buy properties in this area, and even if they are owner-occupied, are you interested in selling your house, or would you at least like to know what your house is worth? And that's kind of a good hook to get in the door.
And owner-occupied is fine, too.
It is.
I mean, again,
It's fine.
if they're ready to sell, they've lived there
And
for 30
oftentimes
years.
they may not even be ready to sell, but I kind of bait them by saying, aren't you at least interested to know what an investor would pay for your house or what your house is worth? And they say, yeah, that does kind of interest me. So then right then and there, I get the appointment and I go out and I build a rapport. They may not even be a motivated seller today, but I don't care because I have the long-term goal in mind. So I'll go out and I'll meet Jane and Joe, for example. Just making up names here.
That's weird. Those were my neighbors.
Okay, well, maybe I'm going to buy your
That
neighbor's
was
house
Jane
at
and
some
Joe.
point.
Yeah.
All right,
Maybe you just called them. Who knows?
Maybe that's who it was. But I'll say, hey, Jane and Joe, thanks for having me out. I know you're not interested in selling right now. That's okay. Here's what the comps in the area are selling for. We're going to average these numbers. This is what the property's worth. However, you need some repairs. Either you can make those repairs yourself and get this number, or you can sell it to an investor who's going to discount the property a little bit, take the repairs off, and this is what that number would be. And oftentimes I get out there and I'm educating them, but at the same time I'm building rapport. Oh, hey, Jane, Joe, I like your cat. I have a cat. You just start building rapport, become friends with them. And then when you're leaving, you don't have to necessarily pitch them on selling you the house. Instead, you just say, do you mind if I follow up with you in 6 months or a year to see if things have changed?
Right. So you could make your offer then. So you'd say, listen, I'd pay $100,000 for this today, and say, oh, we wouldn't even consider that. Then you can go into the
No
soft.
problem. I wouldn't consider it if I were you either.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a terrible offer. Okay? But
Your house is worth 3 times that.
right. But stuff happens. And sometimes the scenario will change to where they need that money quick.
Right.
And that no longer becomes a bad offer. Because if they wanted to use an agent or whatever else, it wouldn't be quick. It wouldn't be cash. It wouldn't be all the things that we offer. So again, we've said this several times in previous episodes, but we're not out to get people. We're looking for that win-win, and we get it. I'll even laugh sometimes when I make an offer because it's so bad, And people will be like, "That is the craziest thing I've ever heard." And I say, "Listen, it's just as crazy coming out of my mouth as it did going in your ears. I promise you." But the funny thing is people will hang up on you or tell you that you're crazy, and then a year later they'll call you back and they'll say, "Hey, is that offer on the table still?"
Yep.
And the thing is like no one's laughing at that point.
Right.
Like, yeah, that was crazy at the time, but now you need that money.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily need that house, but if it's a deal, I'm not going to walk away from it. So therefore, that's my incentive. And your incentive is quick, timeliness, cash, ease of use. All of the above.
Yeah, a good wholesaler does provide value to the market.
That's exactly right.
We basically, so these people are stuck with an asset that's not liquid, and we provide that liquidity.
You provide
to
the
them.
liquidity.
So it is.
That's so true. And people always overlook that. They're like, "Oh, you guys are trying to steal people's houses or whatever." And yeah, I can see how that may be a perspective. But on the flip side, you just nailed it, Mike. I'm going to repeat what you said because I can't say it any better. We provide liquidity.
Yeah.
If you have a nice big house and you want to sell it in a week's time and you want to hire an agent to do so, they may be able to bring in a buyer, but they're not going to be able to close in that amount of time.
We're not even close.
We can.
Yeah,
we can do it in 3 days.
So you have to go get a loan. I mean, a bank loan is going to take minimum 30 days.
Minimum. Usually it's 45.
Yeah. So again,
or 80. Depends on the bank.
You can't eat a house.
No.
All right. So again, if you need cash, you need to sell it. You've got an asset.
You need to eat.
We can close a lot faster than the banks.
Right.
And again, when you work with a good wholesaler, they can help you do that.
Right. So then we got a little off topic.
Yeah. What's
here, though,
working
guys?
in marketing today, guys? Just do it. I think that's what we figured out. Is you have to do some marketing.
Just do something.
Yeah, there is a hierarchy to it. We would suggest, though, in addition to your direct mailing, skip trace some of those names, at least the ones that come back to you at the bare minimum.
Yes.
In your really hot areas, we'd say probably just go ahead and skip trace even more of them and start making those cold calls.
Yeah, skip trace them,
Phone
make
calls.
those cold calls. If you can't reach the individual, but you get a new address, update your mailing list so that the mail's not bouncing back. And I think another reason why cold calling has become so popular recently is because nobody likes doing it. Let's be honest. Like, I don't really have fun when I'm sitting back and I'm cold calling, but I like getting the appointment. So to me, it has a value in the end. There is a reward, let's say. And not everybody takes the time to go skip trace. So what they'll do is maybe the letters come back and they'll just delete that name off their list. So if you have 40 people, that's an exaggeration. Let's say 6 people in a marketplace that are mailing to an individual, and all 6 of those letters bounce, and only 1 or 2 of those people then take the time to skip trace and remail or even call, you have just prevented yourself 4 competitors for that particular deal, either today or down the road.
Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely got a lot of power. But as Mike said, just do it. Do something.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, please visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you in advance for your support, and remember, you make your money when you buy, and you get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.